he sees your eyes running through the night, only takes him back. Always out of sight, crowding through the night. Run, you can run, but you'll never hide. The walls are coming, you're running. The walls are coming, you're running. The walls are coming, you're running. The walls are coming.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to, well, as I've renamed it, Therapy Hour. Normally extra time on a Sunday night. We played Aston Villa yesterday. Wolves, again, lost the game 1-0. It's not the whole story of the game for a change, but we're still calling it Therapy Hour because people need therapy. And until we've won a game, that's the official name of the show. Extra Time has become Therapy Hour. I'm delighted to be joined by my good friend, the Lord himself, Mr. Jason Guy. How you doing, mate?
Absolutely living the dream, Dave. How are you? Thank you for asking me on as ever. I really enjoy coming on. And like I said, I love the show. I love seeing all the positive comments. So, yeah, we'll have a good night tonight, Dave. We'll get it off our chest, mate.
As always. And Jason, can I just say, I had an absolutely lovely time at the Wolves All-Stars Christmas bash on Friday evening, which there was a lot of ex-players there. You do it every year. You do a grand job with that. They raise a load of money for charity, but also so do you. And you raised an amount on the night, Jason?
Yeah, we raised just over £2,500, which we was obviously thrilled with. And we set the fire alarm off, which is good. As you know, Dave, we also had an absolutely amazing band, and that helped to the night. And then
the band was great. Jason, the grand was great.
And then we did the Wolves charity memorabilia fair on Sunday, and we raised just under 500 quid there. So we raised just under £3,000 over 2 charity events. So thank you for everyone that supported. And I've just had a lovely message, not Lord Guy. Lovely. Neil, thanks.
Rebecca said, well, there's a load of people saying well done and good evening to you. And I'm also grateful to be joined, and I really am grateful to be joined this evening because I'm being joined by cheerful Chris, who's been busy travelling today. And also, Chris, you'd have enjoyed the All-Stars on Friday evening too, mate. We didn't leave till nearly 1 o'clock, did we?
No, it was a long old night. It was a good event. Jason always puts on a good event. Plenty of ex-players there. Lots of good raffle prizes, which I know you won one. And,
I did. I won the Wolves All-Stars hat, and I would.
You said you was going to wear it, Dave?
I did actually wear it. Honestly, Jason,
I believe you. I thought you was wearing it tonight.
Oh no, I wore it. I wore it at the game at the at the weekend.
Brilliant.
So if you watch the match vlog, you can see. I did promise to wear it. I did wear it, and it was a good night, wasn't it, Chris?
Yeah, it was a really good night.
I know it was a good night because I saw Chris smile, and I haven't seen that since about 1974.
No, it wasn't. I wasn't smiling, Jason. The sauce on the chicken was a bit rich. It was just a wind episode.
That's about right, son.
Well, whilst I'm on, I do want to say a big thank you to Creation Wolf for powering tonight's show, as always, delivering the industry's latest, most advanced digital solutions, taking your brand and online presence and digital capability to the next level. You can find them on creationwolf.com, but also a big thank you to Michael and the team who bought a table at Jason's do, and obviously we were delighted to be on that table. So Michael, if you're watching, thank you ever so much. It's much appreciated. They do a lot of support for a lot of things to support the channel very, very much. One of our partners, long-term partners. So if you have got a business and you want to take your brand to a different level, get in touch with them. We're also going to be joined this evening by the lovely Lucy, the Golden Girl, and the lads will tell you, she has been trying to get on, but she was having such problems with the connection. She couldn't hear us. We could see her, we couldn't hear her, and she couldn't hear us. So she unfortunately had to look at the technical issues we're going to have a look at the technical issues, and hopefully she'll be able to make a future show, but she was due to be on. Just before we get started, I do want to say that this evening I've been in attendance over at Molyneux tonight, which is important to shine a light on all the good things that do happen at Wolves. I know that it's bad on the field in terms of results, but they're doing their disability awareness celebration month as part of One Pack. There was a good 60, 70 Wolves fans that were there, highlighting the work of what the foundation do to help those people with all sorts of disabilities, and also it's really good to shine a light. There's some good people that work there for Wolves in that sort of stuff, and also the DSA, the Disability Supporters Association, were there. They had a stand. Had a real good chat to them. A lot of them watched the channel as well, which is lovely. It did go on till 9 o'clock, but we had to leave a little bit early to come and do the show. But most of it had been done anyway by then. And if you are a disabled person or you're interested in supporting anyone with a disability, they do have a website. This is their website here. It is the wolvesdsa.co.uk. They're basically an organisation run by disabled supporters for disabled supporters, and it's a steering group and stuff like that. So they sometimes organise away travel. They've got a forum, memberships and events and stuff like that. So if you're interested in that, go on to wolvesdsa.co.uk, and I guess you can hit the join button, and it'll tell you all about how you can be a member of them and get involved with supporting what they do. And I did promise them I'd give them a shout out, because we have a lot of disabled supporters, whether they're all sorts of disabilities, that support the Wolves, and they do a great job. And I just wanted to bring awareness to what they were doing. So I'm sure both and Chris will,
I was just going to say, Dave, they've got their Christmas dinner on December the 11th, and it's at the Pavilion, Goodyears. And I've been supporting it for the last 5 or 6 years, and I go and host it for free for them. And they have a great turnout. They normally have between sort of 30 and 50 people. And we always have a fun night. And you know what? It's the only night I can get. So I text the ex-players and I say, guys, this is for the Wolves Disabled Supporters Association. And once again, there's always 5 or 6 former players there. They give up their time for absolutely nothing. And it's always very well supported, and it's a great event. And they're doing great things for the, obviously, disabled community. With my daughter being disabled, obviously, it's important to me now. Well, not now, but it's important to me. I see the benefits of it now. And I've got to say, there's some great people there, and they're doing great work. So well done for highlighting that, Dave.
No, absolutely, and they're there. If you like, I think there's Paul that's mentioned here. If you get onto their group, Paul, you could probably raise any concerns they have, because they do have access to talking to. I think they have the EDI or the disability members of the Fans Advisory Board or the FAB in some way. I think so. They can.
They have a representative on the FAB, Dave.
They do have a representative on the Fans Advisory Board, so these things can get fed back if there's anyone, if there's an issue or anything that can hopefully get raised. We'll probably touch a little bit on the FAB before the end of the show, because we know that there was a meeting last week. But hopefully we're not going to do a massively long show tonight. It's going to be about an hour. So listen, I know it's a Monday night. It's a little bit different. On a Monday night. So thank you for joining us. I much appreciated it. I have had a couple of video representatives sent in. So we're going to hear what they have to say, and then we're going to get stuck in, if it's all right with you, Chris and Jason, into in what was a more positive, even though we lost, a more positive performance. First of all, we got Chris from Eidsvoll in Norway. His views this week.
This is Chris from Eidsvoll in Norway. After the Villa game, I do try and be positive, believe it or not. There's been no reason to be positive at all since April. We haven't won a game since. How many is that without a win now? Let me think about it. Is it coming on to 16 games now? That's incredible, isn't it? But I've got to say, you got to give credit when it's due, and that was much better today. Much better organised defensively and in midfield. Of course, we've got absolutely nothing going forward at all. And in the end, quite honestly, we were unlucky to lose that game. Some very, very, very strange refereeing today. Now, I have never seen VAR intervene in that way. The game be stopped and a yellow card being issued. Yet a few minutes before that, in an incident much more dangerous and serious, you would have thought, Villa then score afterwards and they don't bother going back. Very, very strange. And as I say, it wasn't right. I think they'll get criticised for that. I think the goal we conceded shouldn't have been a goal. Very, very unfortunate today. But we still haven't won, have we? I can't look for small reasons to be positive when we're bottom of the league on 2 points. I won't do that. It's not appropriate to do that. And I think when you see, in all honesty, the situation we're in, and we're giving game time till Chirewa, who's the guy shouldn't even be in professional football. I don't care how young he is. If that's the level we're putting on, it shows where we are, doesn't it? At least we didn't have to suffer Wang or Menetzi this week, though. Hey, so maybe that can be a positive. But no, we've lost again. That's all that matters, isn't it?
And here's Dave from New York.
Hey Dave, Dave in New York Wolves, coming to you from a very early morning in Hawaii. I was up at 4 a.m. I'll never doubt my dedication to the mighty Wanderers. We'll be greeted by a cockerel in a minute as well. He's been crowing all morning. That Villa game just about sums up our season for me. There he goes. We were in that game. We gave that a good go. I mean, let's be honest, you can tell Villa are a better team, but we took them every step of the way, especially first half. But it's just those little moments that just don't go for you. You know, the disallowed goal, fair enough, it was offside. Hitting the bar, 2 inches different, that goes over the line and we're 1-0 up, Villa pulls something out of the bag out of nothing and someone curls a worldie into the top corner and they win the game. We don't have that at the moment. We don't have a player that can do that, either because the players we have aren't good enough to do it, or they're just so lacking on confidence that and composure that they don't do it. That's the difference. We could easily have got something out of that game, a point, which probably wouldn't have been enough, but even a win, if just those little things went our way. So we've got to earn that right to have that luck, I think. So good battling. The team looked like they knew what they were doing. They were playing like a team. So some positive signs, but we've got to start turning, good, decent performances. I'm not going to say a good performance. We've got to start turning decent performances into wins if we're going to stand any chance of staying up. And just on a technicality, I know we've got bigger problems than this, but I really hope we appeal Arias' yellow card, because the way I understand it, the referee did not have an option to give Arias a yellow card in that situation. He was called over for a red card review because of the two-footed challenge. Now, fair enough, he had to look at it, but if that's given, honestly, they should just shut down all football leagues and replace them with tiddlywinks or badminton or something, because that would have been a ridiculous red for me. But when he reviews it, he either reviews the red card challenge and gives a red, or he doesn't and stays with the on-field decision, which wasn't a foul. So the ref did not have an option to yellow card Arias there, which I think just goes to show that the state of officiating in the Premier League is absolutely appalling. That they can just decide to look at something again and give a yellow card. But anyway, just a bone of contention for me. So that's it. On to Forest on Wednesday. Me and the check-in. We'll leave it at that. Up the Wolves.
Oh, that was quite funny, I thought, with Dave with the chicken and the cockerel. So yeah, some thoughts there, some things. So Jason, let's crack on with you first, mate.
Well, go on.
Rob Edwards has come in. He had a few days last week. Didn't really have a full squad until probably the Friday. He's had a full week this week. What do you make of all of that so far? And the first couple of games, and of course yesterday. What do you take out of it?
Well, firstly, I strongly disagree with one of the points that the first guy made about Tuanda Chiriwa, talking about levels. Listen, one thing that we failed on in recent years, and that we haven't done positively since perhaps the 90s, is our youth system. Now, you've got to give these players a chance. And for him to say, he shouldn't be anywhere near a football pitch, that's absolute, it's after 9 o'clock, that's absolute bollocks, right? Because let me tell you something, Dave, we're on 2 points. We've played a third of the season, right? I'd be happy to see you at right back instead of that flipping chihuahua, right?
Well, I play, but I've got a bad knee at the moment.
Well, Dave, but that's just a ridiculous. He shouldn't be anywhere near a football pitch. You could say that about all 11 of them, right? So don't pick on the flipping young kid who's come on for 5 minutes and is expected to perform in a local derby when we haven't got a win this season. You don't pick on the young kid. If anything, he's the one we should be bigging up, because players like that, we need players to come in without fear. We need players to come in, and there's a lot of negativity around that camp. If a young player can come in, and it's so pleasing to see Rob giving these a chance. Some are going to work, some aren't going to work. You know what? We haven't signed him for 35 million quid like we did Fabio Silva. This is a young kid coming through. He deserves a chance. The players on that pitch are not performing. Secondly, the first half for me was very, very positive, right? However, we are still absolutely miles off, right? So we can take all the positives out we want. We're still miles off. But we had obviously I'm not sure which order it was in, but we had the header from Mosquera, which was unlucky. We also obviously had the disallowed goal.
It was a world class save from double world class save from Martinez. If you watch that back, I mean, the header was it was a great header, and Martinez, world top
brilliant header. And listen, we'll take goals from any players on the pitch at the minute. We can't rely on our strikers to score. So if we're going to get a central defender having a powerful header like that, it's positive. Mosquera for me should be given a run in the team, and if it's for me, I'd get him partnered at the back with Krejci, and because once again, I've told you my thoughts on Totti Gomez. He's too cumbersome for me. So yeah, I thought Mosquera, it was a great header. Obviously, it was good to see Strand Larsen, although it got disallowed and ruled out, which was disappointing for a ridiculous, well, slightly offside, probably by his toenail. So that was disappointing. In the second half, I mean, there's a few points I want to cover. In the second half, when Villa scored, obviously, there's the stamp on Gomez. And if you're going to treat John Arias, the ref's going to penalise John Arias like it is. He's got to do exactly the same to Aston Villa, because, I don't suppose there's much in it. The Arias one, did both feet leave the floor? It probably looked a bit more malicious. But even so, it's a stamp on Gomez. It clearly injured him, and then they've gone on to score. When Villa scored, another positive was the fact that heads didn't drop completely. They didn't. I think that is one thing as well that Rob Edwards would have been talking to them about, because the likelihood is in matches we are going to go a goal down because of the way we're playing, because we're not good enough. And he's probably said to them, look, guys, we go a goal down. This is where we need the leaders. This is where we need you to be on top of your game. And, it's heads of, every time we conceded a goal this season, we are out the game. It's done. It's finished. It didn't quite feel like that yesterday, but it was still going to be a mountain to climb. So as soon as we went a goal down, it was going to be a mountain to climb. But it didn't look it didn't feel like we wasn't at the races with it. So you look at Villa's goal. You've got a player there who's bombing one from outside the box, and he hits a 25-yarder into the top corner. That's great. We haven't got players who do that. You look at Andre and Gomez. I'm not negging them out now, but I'm saying that they aren't they're very, very similar defensive midfielders, and ideally you'd want someone to be a defending midfielder and someone bombing on. A little bit like Neves and Moutinho used to. Moutinho dropping back, or they'd switch, but we don't seem to be creating chances and shooting from outside the box like Villa do. And I did hear one of the commentators say about how many goals Villa have scored from outside the box this season, but we don't seem to be having them pot shots. It's almost like we're trying to bloody walk it in. But the reality behind it, and I put a post on Twitter earlier. The realities behind it. I picked 3 players that we sold last season or left last season, 3 players that we brought in this season. So if you look at Nelson Semedo, who's been replaced by Jackson Tachua, Ain't Nori, which has arguably been replaced by David Muller-Wolf, and Mateus Cunha, whose replacement has been John Arias. When you sell 3 top quality players, or 3 top quality players like that leave, if you replace them with 3 players who, 1, aren't Premier League ready, 2, are way off it anyway, what do we expect? And there's a few people, do you think we're going to stay up? I'm telling you now, we aren't going to stop up, right? And this is my opinion. I can't say factually, can I? Of course I can't. But let's be honest. We're a third of the way through the season. We're on 2 points. We can't score a goal. We can't buy a win. Our
goal of the month competition's going to be a cracker, Jay.
I haven't even thought of that. I mean, it's ridiculous, isn't it? We used to have the goal of the month competition. The Wolves used to. What are they going to do now? The flipping disallowed goal of the month competition.
What we're going to do, Jace, is we're introducing a new thing. It's called the goal of the month rollover.
No. The goal against of the month. So my biggest bugbearer here is, look at the 3 players. I've just used 3. We can give more examples, right? 3 players. Look at the 3 replacements, and we wonder where we are. The chickens, Dave, are coming home to roost, and we're going down. And I feel sorry for the loyal employees at the club. I feel sorry for the local businesses. I feel sorry for the people who rely on that trade. I feel sorry for people who rely on that job, because Faustin have let so many people down with some negligent decisions. And then people say, oh, well, it's not all on Faustin. What about the players on the pitch? Of course, it's the players on the pitch. I get it. But the culture starts at the top. Faustin, the management, the decisions they've made, the management, then obviously the signings, the players, it just trickles down. And look what's on the pitch now. It's just, look, we can any of us realistically see a win coming before Christmas with our fixture list?
Yeah, I do.
Well,
I do.
I
do. And I honestly, Jay, I really, really do. I'm going to let Chris talk. But I completely agree with everything you said. By the way, managed decline over the last 3 or 4 years.
Yep.
This is a test case in how not to move a club forward.
Yeah.
And
I don't want to neg out Rob Edwards neither in any way, shape, or form, because there's no culpability here. But isn't it funny that he's had his, like you said, great point, his first full week, and there is an improvement. There is. But it's an absolute mountain to climb for him. And given these tools that he's got in his toolbox out on that pitch, it can't be on that man.
Oh, I'll tell you what, 100% agree with you on that as well. Let's hear what Chris has got to say on all of that.
Yeah, I think on the balance of the game yesterday, we're not a good side. Villa were not very good. They didn't need to be very good to beat us, unfortunately. I know it was a worldy goal. But I think every game for us this season is going to be like an FA Cup game. We've gone back to a third division type side who's playing a Premier League team in the cup every week, and you're just hoping they have a crap game and we manage to scrap a win from somewhere. There's no pattern of play. There's no movement of the ball at pace. There's nobody wanting to drive forward. I mean, it's a real big indicator for me that the one player who was trying to do something with the ball and drive yesterday was Bellegarde. And Bellegarde, I don't think will get in any other Premier League team. And that is the indictment where the squad has been left after the summer window. And this isn't Rob Edwards' fault. This is the cards he's got to work with now. And you can see from the game yesterday that he has had some effect. They were structured. They had some, it was pass it to Tatua down the wing and overlap against Matty Cash. There was some tactics there, although he's not a very good player. And I think the problem is that that's probably as best as it's going to be from that team. I really can't see them doing anything better than that. I don't know what we're going to do in January, but we're going to have to do something.
Well, I think January, Chris, is all going to work out on really have we got any chance of getting out of it. Now, if you get it, I mean, it doesn't look great at the moment, but if you go to January and you're with 3 to 5 points off getting out of it, obviously we're I think we're something like 9 points at the moment. If we get to 3 or 5 points from getting out of it, then that's a different conversation. If you're 10 to 15 points away, isn't it? Because even with spending so much money and then even trying to get players to come into it is going to be difficult.
Yeah, that's the question, Dave. Who's going to come?
Can't see us getting those points.
Where's the attraction coming to a team?
Well, there is no attraction because there is no attraction, is there? But the situation that we've got in January anyway, we cannot be bringing in any overseas players because we're at the limit unless we sell someone. It wouldn't surprise me if Sarr goes in January because obviously Johnson's now the number 1, Sarr's number 2, Bentley's out injured for a little while. But we've got to bring in homegrown players, so Premier League players, and we've been linked with a couple, obviously. But it's going to be tough because who wants to come for a relegation battle? But Rob Edwards has come in, and to me, on your point, Chris, a lot of the people so many people have been saying the players don't care. They don't care. They've given up the job. That was not on show yesterday.
It's not that they don't care, Dave. It's not that they don't care. They go out there, they run, they apply themselves. They're just not good enough. That's what we've got to realise.
Some of these players are nowhere near good enough. And let me tell you something, right?
Jason, I know that's what people have been saying. Under Vitor Pereira, they looked like headless chickens. Vitor Pereira came in and did a great job, and then it's all gone completely wrong. We could see for weeks that there was issues with Andre and calling out players and stuff. He'd lost players. He was playing players on the pitch that are probably still onside. There was no structure. We could identify with effort from some players like Gomez, who'd always put in a shift, but we couldn't identify with the team. For the first time in months, yesterday, we could identify with a team as a team performance. And I know something, Chris, you said Villa played poor. Villa are played 30 games and lost once at home in 30 matches. They've won the last 7 or 8 at home. They're not a bad side. They're a very, very good side.
I'm not saying they're not a bad side, Dave.
I think our team made them look poor yesterday. I thought because of how we played, there was more
intensity. But then the rest of the teams in the league, your Man United, your Chelsea, your Spurs, your Liverpools, your Man Cities, your West Hams, your Tottenhams, your Arsenals, are we going to pick up points against them? Because there's not enough points. If we even beat Burnley home and away and Leeds home and away, there's not
the realism of it is we have a 98% chance, according to Opta, of going down. We have a 2% chance of staying up. The odds are obviously completely against us. No team has ever done it ever for something like 75, 70, well, probably even longer now, because that was 2 points after 12 games. But we've got to stay up. We've got to win two games out of every 5. So we've got 25 games to go. We've got to win 2 out of every 5. That's what's going to happen. Now, if we play like we played against Villa at the weekend, we actually look like a team for the first time this year. We look like, for a whole 90 minutes, you made the point, Jason, when they went behind, their heads didn't drop. You know, yeah. Martinez has made a worldy save. We've had a goal disallowed because Arias carried on running. He's made two other saves. We've hit the bar, you know, and they've scored a worldie. And this is when you're down the bottom, you know, against Crystal Palace last week, we were in the game and he'd only had a thing, and they had weird deflection that went over the bar. That's us, it goes in the back. Everything's going against us. When you're down the bottom, that's what happens. You know, we've got to keep fighting. We've got to keep fighting and keep behind the team and support them as much as possible, even though the odds are against. Because if we just completely surrender, then you might as well just all pack up and go home. Am I wrong in saying?
No, not at all, Dave. You know, I do agree with your points. It's just that, you know, it's very difficult to I know we're talking about Saturday's game, but it's very difficult to judge the rest of the season, obviously, on that game. And yes, there were positives, Dave. I'm not denying at all there were positives, right? But we're going to need to see this. Like you said, let's see us get 2 wins in the next 5. Let's give us some belief, because still right now we've lost, right? So we're still on 2 points after X amount of games, 13 games. So I'm completely demoralised with it all, and I do want to see Rob Edwards do well. Of course, I do. Desperate for him to see him do well. I'd love him to turn it around. And then, you know, but so the signings in January, we've got to be realistic as well. What I'd be doing if we are still down there, which obviously I think we are going to be down there. Obviously, they're not going to chuck 20, 30 million on players. I think you've got to look at picking players out of the Championship. I think you've got to look at the top Championship players to either give them a run in the Premier League or equally plan for next season. And I think we've got to be that realistic and you know, ruthless with it. There's going to be a lot of these players, Dave. You know, I'm not going to single people out, but they're going to be like rats on a ship, mate. Absolute mercenaries. They'll already be knowing their agents are going to be speaking to them. We'll get you out of here. You know, we'll get you another move. So there's going to be some players that care, genuinely care. There is. And there's going to be others, mate, that don't care. But listen, there was positives. I know I'm sounding a bit defeatish with it all, but you know, it's just another defeat. So I got called.
Look, they don't run out on that pitch wanting to lose a game. They're going out there. They're trying. They're doing to the best of their skill sets. The problem is they haven't got enough.
But the summer signings, and this is back to my original point I first made. The summer signings were dog shit, absolute dog shit, and we've replaced 3 players: Semedo, Ait-Nouri, Cunha, potentially a world-class player, same as Ait-Nouri. You know, these are real top performers.
And Semedo.
Semedo, 100%. These are 3 top players. They've gone, and we've replaced them with them 3. So this is why we are where we are. And this is why you think going forward, Rob Edwards has got to try and get a tune out of these players. Look at the tools he's got. This squad is 50% worse than Vitor Pereira's last season when he won them 7 games on the bounce, however many it was. So 6 games on the bounce. So we've got to be seriously realistic, and that was my point I wanted to make from the start.
Yeah, I mean, Jason. I am seriously realistic that it's 98% on that we're going to go down, because everyone's writing us off. That everybody is writing us off. Our Wolves are going down, you know, because Opta is just 98% going off, but we're not relegated. We're not down. We are.
They're not right.
Hold on, Chris. Hold on. We're not relegated yet. It's probable that we will go down. I'm realistic to say that. But as fans, we've got 100. If we just basically forget, oh yeah, we're going down, that's it, and we just say, oh yeah, we're down, well, that's it, we're down. But we can't expect the players to feel like that. And I felt like the Wolves fans yesterday at that game at Villa, there was a connection between Rob, between the players and the fans for the first time in a long time. Before the game, you guys might not have seen this. I'm in the stand. Right, even before the game started, all the players, all 11 players, ran up as a block to the fans and clapped the fans before all together. Like, it really was nice to see. And then right at the end, they all come over. Rob was over there. There was a really good connection between between Rob, the players, and the fans in that stadium. Now, yeah, realistically, we're probably going to go down. But we're not down. We're not relegated. And if we think that way, we definitely got to be. And if the players think that way, we will be. I saw a team yesterday for the first time this year that, to a man, fought, and we lost to a worldie, and we could have beat an Aston Villa side that have lost one game in 30 at home in the last 30 games, who are a very, very good side. And we more than matched them, and we probably on another day would have won that game. So that tells me that we're not as bad as what we've been performing for the previous 12. I think Rob Edwards has got a task on his head. But if we can match Villa and make them look so poor and lose to a worldie, and Martinez makes 2 or 3 fantastic saves, then there's something. But it's one game, Jason. You're right. What do we do on Wednesday? That's the next.
Yeah. This is the thing. This is going to where, obviously, we're going to see the real consistency. I went on Radio WM earlier with Steve Herman, and he asked me a really good question. And he said, for example, what would you do with Gomez in January? Would you sell him? And
good question, guys. Good question.
Or would you sell him next May? Obviously, for a lot less. And this is obviously going to be the question for quite a few players. And it's important, really. What would you do, Dave?
I think Sooty talked about this. We've talked about this. I think if you're really cut adrift and you're sort of 12 to 15 points cut adrift, there is a temptation there to cash in. If someone comes in, because if you're that far behind at that point, and don't forget, this is going to be another 7 games further into the season. So we're going to be looking at around about 20 games played with 18 left. And then you're sort of 10 to 15 points, it's at that point, it becomes like 0.1% chance. But if we're 3 to 5, if we say we do put some results together, say we beat Forest, they win a game. You've seen so many times. Look at Liverpool, unbeatable. Liverpool won the first 5 games of the season. They lose a game, and then they're they win one in one result can change. So what happens if we beat Forest? We back it up by beating United, which we on any good day, you don't know what United take, and then all of a sudden you're 3 to 5 points behind. It's a different conversation, isn't it, in January then?
Oh, of course it is. Of course it is. First, what I'll say, Dave, is wherever you're getting your drugs from, can I have some? And secondly, I'm joking. No, that's a great point. Listen, as football fans, we are notoriously fickle. As Wolves supporters, long-standing supporters, we've been up there, down there. We've seen, great days, bad days. Once again, we're probably actually more fickle than most. And I think that's part of the problem, and we keep getting bitten, and we're all pretty disappointed and disillusioned at the minute. But let me tell you something, Dave. You're exactly spot on. If we beat Forest and then get a draw against Man United, all of a sudden it's back on, and we get excited. But the frustrating thing is, as that was our best half of football. Well, that was our best game this season. Factually, that was our best performance this season, 100%. But the fact we've come away with absolutely nothing just still does leave you demoralised. But that was our best 90 minutes this season, and the first half was clearly the best this season.
I think when Dave, you say that we've got to win 3 out of the next 5, and that's a
2 out. So basically,
only 2, Chris. Only 2, man.
2 out of every 5 games. So there's 25 games to go. Because Craig messaged me earlier and said we need to win 2 out of 3, and I went, no, it's 2 out of 5 because we need to win at least 10 games. There's 25 games to go, so obviously it's 2 out of the next 5 plus the odd draw here and there, isn't it? That we need to win. So every 5 games we need to win 2, and we've won 9.
We can't sit here and say it's not going to happen. Confidence is factors here. That it goes in off someone's backside, and we get a 1-0 win, and then it happens again, and it can happen. But the balance of likelihood, after what we've seen so far, shows it's probably not going to.
The problem is, as well, Chris, and I'm sure you'll agree, and I think we spoke about this on Sunday, a lot of the supporters, a lot of, you've only got to look in the chat now, do a poll, Dave, we're stopping up, we're going down. There's a lot of people who've almost probably resigned ourselves to going down. That's why we're in this mindset. And I'm sure a lot of the players aren't thinking that way, and Rob Edwards certainly will not be thinking that way. But it's such a mountain to climb, and I think that's it. And it's just, I suppose it's sometimes when you play absolutely shit and you lose a match, you walk away thinking we're the best team won. But I suppose the disappointment on the weekend, clearly on Sunday, clearly was we've played well, our best this season, we've still come away with nothing. So I think that's the natural disappointment.
It is, because we haven't won since April the 26th, and it's now December. So I mean, it is, but I like the fact that Rob's come in, and I also agree. No matter what happens this season, it's not on him, is it? We all know we all know where the blame has laid over the last few years.
If we didn't win a match again this season, none of this is on Rob Edwards. I'm telling you that now.
No. And,
all you can ask Rob Edwards to do is to pick a side, to have some kind of resemblance of a tactic for the players that he's got, and for those players to execute that tactic and put 100% effort in. That's all you can ask him for. If he don't put 100% effort in, then he's not doing his job. If he haven't got any tactics or anything to play to, he's not doing his job. But I don't think we'll see that from Rob Edwards. I think he'll give them things to do, and he'll get them playing in some sort of formation, and that's all he can do. He can't magically. He can't change these players. The damage has been done in the purchasing of these players. He can't change what's been bought. He can in January, but whether he gets the opportunity is another thing.
Yeah, and well, exactly that. And we've also, it's only going to be in our hands so much, and then we've got to rely on other teams losing. We've got to rely on another 2 to 3 teams being worse than us to give us any chance. But
this is why the Forest game is pretty really important, because lose that, we've got to try and keep those sort of teams close, because they're one you get cut adrift even more. So Wednesday is massive, really.
Every club that plays us this season will be rubbing their hands, seeing it as a must-win. It's not Molyneux isn't a fortress.
And do you know what? I spoke to a lot of Villa fans before the game. They were really nervous about playing us. Because I think a lot of teams also look at us and go, oh, shit, I hope we're not the team that loses to them. That nobody wants to be that team that loses to Wolves, do they? So every team that comes out, a lot of Villa fans, I think they had a lot of relief at the end of that game. And I've had, if you've been on the reaction, I've had lots of Villa fans that actually said we should have got at least a point. We should have won. There's a lot of respect for the performance that we put on. As well. But like you say, Jason, it's all right saying that, but then you lose. But the one thing that I really was impressed, and you nailed it, Jason, you absolutely nailed it. When we've gone behind previously, you saw the heads drop, and they didn't drop. They kept going, and they were still pushing at the end. We never had the break, but, I felt that's a positive. Chris, you were going to say.
Absolutely. Look, Dave, I'd love to come on in this show in 2 weeks' time, and we've got 4 points. I mean, it'd just be magical, wouldn't it? And we would feel better, and we would feel. But right now, Dave, it's still, there's still a massive, massive road ahead. We know that.
It's ginormous, and I'm a realist. The odds are, like I say, 98% chance, according to Opta, of us going down at this point of time. Chris, you were going to say something there, mate, and then I want to move on to the general.
Yeah, so I think you touched on the point that Keith made last week, and I think I'm pretty much in his camp, really. You need to change what is happening. This mindset, feeling, mood that we've got within the squad. If things don't improve, we need to be looking at getting that side that we need for the following season in towards next year, and building that up and getting the confidence back and getting a pattern of play and seeing how the players do 5 or 6 months, and then recruiting again in the summer to plug the holes that because you've only got to look at our recruitment record in the last 3 windows, and it's not great. We're not signing. We're not signing brilliant players in the positions that we've got gaps, and who we are signing isn't really coming off. So we've got to at some point we've got to start thinking about where we go. Otherwise, it'll come around and smack us in the face, and it'll all be too late, and we can't deal with it. So I think
Matt Jackson is now the new technical director. As I say, he's been at the club for 5 years. He's the new technical director. He's been around. He's a footballing man, so I'm sure that's something that he's looking at. They've kept that chap that was going off to Rangers that we were going to lose. He's been appointed head of the academy. There are things happening. Obviously, in some of the positions that are being filled. Obviously, one of the things we've talked about here, obviously, is the chairman, who's overseeing all of these things. There's a lot of people angry about that, about the investment, about the decisions that have been made over the last 4 years. There was a fans advisory board meeting that took place on Thursday. Obviously, we weren't there. From my understanding, is they talked about the 150th anniversary. They talked. I think Jeff Shee was there. Chris, you've probably had a bit of feedback from because you're on the trust board. Because obviously the trusts are represented on the fans advisory. Is there anything that you can?
I can kind of give you some snippets. Obviously, I've travelled, so I've heard a little bit, but not fully engaged in it. I think the chairman was asked where it's all going wrong, and I think there was an admission finally that the purchases hadn't worked.
Is this from Jeff?
I don't know, Dave, because I just get kind of snippets. So I don't, it's the 4 minutes haven't come out, so you don't know who said what. You just getting summarised. This was said and this was said. So some admission that the signings haven't worked. There was a bit of. It was made clear that Vitor and Domenico Totti, whatever his name was, Skeletor guy. It was made clear that they were the people that had recruited in the summer. It was also said that Matt Jackson and his team had identified players, but none of those were chosen by Vitor and Domenico, who did their own thing.
I think that's why Domenico Totti was brought in with Vitor, wasn't it? Because
possibly. But look, I sat with the chairman in the summer just after the transfer window. He told me how engaged he was in all the transfers and how wonderful it was, and why we picked all the players. So that's a different message now, which is a little bit strange. They haven't really said much more. They've kind of indicated that they're still going to talk to different fan groups if they get the opportunity. They made it clear that the official communication channel that they're mandated to do is the Fab, and that's the way that they will be communicating. So I'd encourage everybody to get hold of a program and look in the program and see who the attendees on the Fab are. If you're not a trust member, because anybody who's a trust member will know it's our chairman and they can communicate to him quite regularly all the time. But there are, I think, 8 other people in the Fab, and supporters need to start asking questions of the people in the Fab and letting them know what they think, because I don't feel it's properly happening that way. And
it's interesting you should say that, because I went to the disability thing meeting tonight, which was very good and very uplifting. And there was the representative from the Fab that was on there, and they was asked how many people know who the Fab, and there was about 70 people there. I think there was about 4 people put their hands up, which says everything, doesn't it? That it's like, that there is not an understanding of where the communication comes to and from the fans. There's only really that, as you say, that there are the fan groups that there are representatives for, but I'm on like one of the match day experience group, but it doesn't really, from what I understand, it doesn't really go backwards and forwards like it does with the trust and its members, I suppose.
Well, I think it's because, Dave, the trust works on an election basis. So we elect a board, and then we elect a chairman, and that chairman is representing the board, and we're representing our members. So we're a representation body, and we've got to feed that back. I question how much the other fan members feedback to any other group other than the Fab.
So
I just don't know.
I think that's a fair comment.
And I think, as supporters, if we want to hold these people to task and debate, discuss, and do things in that manner, it's got to be better. This engagement's got to be better. Otherwise, people will choose to do what they want to do. Our good friend Keith's chosen what he wants to do. He's demonstrating in a very graphic way, and other people do other things like that. And they've got to start realizing the sentiments of the fan base, because if they don't start addressing these issues and talking and communicating back to people, then people will make up their own answers, and that's what will happen.
Yeah, I agree. Just on that, Chris, just so people can understand due process, because there's a lot of people saying, "Oh, they're going to be protests and stuff like that," which is, I know I'm on the Trust WhatsApp group. There's been people asking about that on the Trust WhatsApp group and stuff. What's the process with the Trust? Where people will probably be interested to know where the Trust are with that at this point in time. If you can throw any light on that, just for transparency, for people to understand.
Well, the Trust at the moment is waiting for minutes of the meeting to come out that happened last week. And we'll circulate that to the members, and then we'll engage with members, say, what do you want us to do now? How do you want us to move this forward? The Trust stance will be that we should continue to have meaningful dialogue with the club, and we need to have that meaningful two-way dialogue, and we need to have answers, and we need to have things done that appeases people. And I suppose if we don't get that, then that will reflect in our members' views, and we'll have to then take that to account.
Okay, so the process, so people can understand, is that you'll receive or the Trust will receive, as members of the Fans Advisory Board, the minutes of that meeting. you will share that with your members, and then the members, of which are about 350 individual and some more affiliates, I think, at the moment, will then let them know on what they want to do, and then the trust take that into account and then do what the members want to do. So, like, again, if there's people that want to do that, you would encourage them to engage with the trust through their through your membership. Is that what you're saying, effectively?
Yeah, I mean, look, anybody has the right to protest and, do something to show that they're unhappy. It's up to people to make it known, and going back to Keith. Keith has come up with something that he wants to do, and he's got on and done it. Yeah,
I mean, and
people want to do something, Dave. Sometimes people have to put their neck on the line and do something.
I know, and that's it. That's exactly the point. People have that they can do their own thing and stuff like that.
I think the supporters have been very restrained. I think there's certainly no toxic atmosphere. They're certainly getting behind the team. Obviously, I'm sure Jeff Shee knows of the absolute displeasure, but I think they've handled themselves very well up to now. Talking Wolves fans, for all of us, I think they've handled themselves very well. But if obviously this continues, and then when relegation does get confirmed, it could be a very different story. But we're in a democratic society. People they definitely have got the right to show their displeasure and demonstrate and protest. And the old goal pack as well, they're sticking their head above the block, because obviously they're allowed into the ground early to set up their flags, etc., which is great and positive. But they've also there's been obviously the one flag that they've put out there, which I can't remember what it says on the flag, but
I think it says something like back us or sell us or something like that, didn't it?
So you know what, they're really putting their heads above the parapet, and that's good to see.
The old goal pack are also FSA registered as well. Like the trust I think the trust are at a higher level of registered. The old goal pack are FSA registered, and people can do their thing. I said, I've said many times, it's like I am not a representative. I am not elected. Yeah, we have a massive following. Over 100,000 across all of our channels, over 38,000 here, but I'm not elected. I can only reflect. We get emails, messages, reflect the views and stuff like that. I'm thinking, so our job, if there is such a thing as a protest, it's not our job, my job to organise one, but we will cover it if there is such a thing that happens, of course. And we can reflect the views. There's a lot of people that have come on very, very eloquently to portray how angry, and there's a lot of angry people out there, and there's a lot of angry people that, and quite rightly, because the club was in a golden position 3 or 4 years ago, just before the pandemic, and since then, every year we've gone backwards, and the frustration thing and the reason why people are so angry is you can see it coming down the line, and it's like, but you're still doing the same things, and if you keep doing this. What's the definition of insanity? Is doing the same thing every year, and that's what we've been doing.
And what you do, Dave, you keep doing the same thing, you get the same results. But if you don't do the same thing, if you do things even worse, guess what happens, Dave? You get worse results.
Exactly.
Dave, the thing that I look at this is, and I did it on a bit of paper the other week. I took every position of a starting 11 from the Nuno era and put who I thought was the best player in there. And I looked at the team and I just scrunched it up and put it in the bin. And, the sad thing about that was, yes, we sold some of those players for big money and we did very well out of it. What we've done with that money and how we spent it is a worry. But the really sad thing, I had 2 players on there who we let walk out the door for nothing at all.
Aido and Sarabia.
No, it was Adama and Raul.
Oh, you're on about both of those, yeah. Was
you know,
well
and I just looked at it and thought, what a mess we made of this. That's all I thought about it, and it is sad.
It's heartbreaking, mate, because all Wolves fans ever want, we've never asked for much. We the early years under the current owners were great, and we had some of the best times ever. And there was a point in time where Nuno asked for the money to take us to the next level, and it didn't happen. And then Fabio was born. Whether they got stung on that one, I don't know. And then
I'd say so.
yeah, and then it's just been, like you say, people. It seems like then for about a couple of years, Wolves hardly sold anybody until the likes of Neves went, and then after that, it's just been like, come to us for a couple of years or 18 months, and we'll sell you on. And so they're never fully committed, and you need to build a team around your best players, not keep selling your best players. Because if you do that every year, you get weaker every year, and you fall through the trapdoor. And it does look like it's likely to happen this year, and people are very angry and upset. And I think the last straw, the really last straw, if it was the last straw at all, is when Jeff offered a new contract to Gary O'Neill. It's like people would just go in, have you lost the plot?
Yeah, and what you're going to think of these days, Jeff Shee and Fosun, the ownership in general, their communication to supporters is poor, really poor. In fact, it's less than poor, it's non-existent. And then when he finally does give a soundbite and he gives himself the opportunity to communicate with the fans, he tells us all, if we want trophies, maybe it's not the club for us.
Well, to be honest, I'm quite mild-mannered, and people consider sometimes I'm a happy clap or whatever. You know, I'm always a glass half full type of guy. That's always how I've been. I hate negativity. I hate hatred. I don't like any of that stuff, but I can understand why people hate and have got that real anger, because like, we love our club. The one thing I hate more than anything is fans turning on fans. I really hate that, because some people have got a more ferocious about something than something else, and they're like, well, you know, you should be this, that, and the other. Everyone has their own levels of things. We're all humans, not robots. I hate to see fans turning on fans over things, because at the end of the day, we all love our club. We've all got different views of how to get things done. But people want it, like what Chris says, if there isn't anything organised or something, then there will be people that'll take it into their own hands, and that's probably what will happen.
Can I ask you guys a question? So I'll direct this at both of you. So this esports thing, right? Now, we obviously it's all cloak and dagger. We don't know what it brings into the club financially, if anything. Do you think it is a good idea to have on the esports shirt Sandwell College in the heart of West Bromwich?
We talked about this last week, and what basically, I personally, I think it's a PR own goal, but this isn't a new thing. People think it's
3 years ago.
It's
Yeah,
2020.
No.
2023.
I didn't ask the question. That's not the question asked. The question asked was, do you think it's a good idea?
Personally, probably no. PR. It's a PR. It's
Probably,
a PR own goal.
just say it as it is. The reality
But
is this.
the reason why it is, just so people can understand, is Wolverhampton College don't have an esports thing. Sandwell College have an esports thing. They have a degree or something.
If esports is that big, do you really think they need to have Sandwell College in the heart of West Bromwich on their shirts? If esports is the £12 billion industry,
like I said, it's a PR own goal. In 2023, no one blinked an eye because things were not that bad. Everything that happens nowadays, any little thing is being jumped on. No one said anything 2023. It's because of everything that's happening now. But no, I think it shouldn't have West Brom on there, obviously. Absolutely not. I completely agree.
If this was like a Lazio, and it'd say, did it do something about AS Roma? my good God, they'll be ripping down the stadium. I'm not saying it calls for that, but I'm just saying.
This comes with the way that Wolves run is that, and we've been told this, all the departments work in silos. There's no real cross, or there wasn't. They all have their own budgets to work, and they do things
but to be fair, it doesn't matter what silo you could work in a nuclear fucking bunker to realise that having Sandwell College or wherever it is on the front of a Wolves shirt is a bad idea, and
100%.
It doesn't matter whether you're a silo. It's just it's a, as you say, it's a PR own goal.
Who says I know? Put it. Don't put it on the arm. Don't put it on the shorts. Don't put it on the back of the shirt. Put it in the middle of the shirt at the front. Who signs this off? Who's there going? Yeah, great idea. Yeah, I'll put my name to that.
Well, I'm guessing it's the. I'm guessing it would be whoever it is that raises the revenue for sponsorships on these sort of things.
Wolfie. Fucking
Maybe
Wolf.
Wolfie, but
who's making these ridiculous?
It's a PR own goal, but as
we should have put it on the back of the shorts.
You should have put it on someone's arse.
Yeah. So it's obviously a silly thing that was done, but what can you say? But all I'm saying is it was done in 2023. So I know it's come to the fore now again.
To be fair, Dave, we were shit in 2023. So I don't know how to got it. Probably because I don't care about esports.
Haven't they blocked you, Jason?
Yeah, they've blocked me, and I don't
why
care.
Would they, I don't understand why they blocked me.
And listen, I don't swear on Twitter. I don't put any profanities because of obviously the charity work, etc. So I don't want people going, lucky swears and all that rubbish. So I don't bother swearing. So I made a point about esports, and then you just get blocked straight away. I'm not bothered. I didn't go home and cry about it. But my point is, you can't even have an opinion.
Yeah, you did. You cried to me about it.
I cried. But what my point is, you can't even have an opinion. You have an opinion blocked. You know, I didn't get in a row with them about anything. Blocked. Why? Because esports don't want to. Wolves fans aren't their market. We're not their market, so they will keep blocking us, and they don't want any negativity, right? Frozen. That's why now everything Frozen put on X, everything that they put on X, they're now they've disabled the comments, so people can't go. You know, why aren't you investing? Why aren't you doing this? So,
to be honest, you can understand though they would do that because let's face it, everything they post gets completely hijacked.
Frozen bought a Premier League club to raise their status and raise their profile, right? That's the reason why they did it. Yes.
Yeah.
You know, they have got advertising they could never, ever have got. They'd have had to pay billions of pounds to get the advertising status that the Premier League has given them, that Wolves have given them, right? But that, you know, that's clearly their aim. That's clearly their goal.
I think the esports thing with the Sandwell College is indicative of pretty much what's generally been going on and over the last 3 or 4 years. It's kind of like it hasn't been thought through. It's like, oh, it's fine. We'll bring in some money with that, but they haven't. It's really been. It's indicative, isn't it, of everything else?
It's really bad. It's ridiculous, and it just shows that they don't. Do they know about the rivalry? Do they care about the rivalry? Do they care about the fans' thoughts? It's just shocking. But there is people in the club that surely know, that surely think, whoa, rewind. Don't put that on there. How many shirts are they going to sell in the club shop? Oh, do you want to buy an esports shirt? Oh, yeah, great. I like the design. Yeah, it's got Sandwell and West Bromwich right there.
I'm not sure if you can get the esports things in the shop, and they are
yes.
selling. But yeah, you know, it's again, it's like indicative of these sort of things. It's the little things that mount up over time, and this is just another example of these sort of things. But as I say, it's come to light now, hasn't it? It's another example of
I've
like
heard the new Esports shirt. I don't know how true this is, and I just someone told me in the pub, and it was his mate's uncle that told me the new Esports shirt is going to have blue and white stripes and a throttle on it. Now, the new Wolves Esports shirt. I don't know how true it is, Dave.
maybe they'll have Wolverhampton College on it or something like that. Then
No,
I don't
because
know.
they wouldn't, would they, Dave? Because they're not stupid. I'm on about the West Bromwich supporters. They wouldn't be stupid enough to have flipping Wolverhampton College there, would they?
No,
Anyway.
absolutely. As I say, I think it's just one of these things. It's indicative that, I mean, aside from the esports and that, there's bigger fish, isn't there, in terms of where we are right now.
Actually, Jace, I have to correct you because West Brom had a great big Wolverhampton College University advertisement across their scoreboard for about a year.
Is that right, Chris?
Seen photos of it.
Yeah, guess what? West Brom are tin pot. Let's follow suit with them then. I don't care what West Brom are doing. I don't care what Walsall are doing. I don't care what Villa are doing. I don't care what Blues are doing. I care what my club are doing. And if my club,
Look, I get the fact that
shitty esports to have West Brom in the heart of Sandwell there, well, they're very much mistaken.
I get the fact that, you know, sponsorship and revenue is all very important, and you need to get as much as it are. All this PSR, it all counts. But sometimes you have to go,
No,
the money's not worth that. And I doubt
No,
that whatever remuneration we got from Sandwell College, you could have gone and got from, you know, some chippy down the road. It wouldn't have been much different.
Absolutely. You know, and put charity on there. You know, but put something positive. You know, they can't be that ardent for the money, clearly. And then then year on year, we have betting companies on our shirts, and you can't even find the websites to place a bet, even if you wanted to.
well, no, because they're foreign betting, aren't they? The companies and stuff. But obviously, next year we won't be having a betting company on the front of the shirt. The contract runs out at the end of this year, and to be honest,
we're not going to have a sponsor on the front of the shirt.
Well, I'm just saying,
we are West Bromwich Building Society. I've heard are interested.
Oh my God, can you imagine? No, I'm just saying because like the sponsor, I mean, like whoever's having to look at the sponsorship for the front of the shirt, it's not exactly going to be an easy sell when we're too.
Porta potty.
You what?
Porta potty.
No, I've heard it's a dog food company. I've heard we're going to have Win a Lot on the front of our shirts.
Win a lot.
Win a lot.
That they wouldn't sponsor us, would they? Because we don't win a lot, do we? Just before we wrap up, because we are like, I promised I'd keep it short. I promised Emma I'll just give a shout out for any of our female fans, Wolves fans, the Girls in Old Gold Facebook page. Get on there. It's all about amplifying female voices at Wolves to create a welcoming community for like-minded women. So, like, if you want to get onto the Girls in Old Gold, if you're a female Wolves fan, it's going really, really well, actually. They're now also FSA registered. These are. The link is in the description below. If you're a female Wolves fan, get on there. There will be a website apparently coming for this where any male allies who support empowering women in football can get on as well. So that will be coming, but this is for a female-only Facebook page. I'm not even allowed on there, but they can talk about things and stuff like that. Wolves and football, very passionate Wolves fans.
Brilliant.
It's a really positive thing that they're doing, and of course, as you know, we've also celebrated Wolves female fans by having 2 all-female panels as well over the last couple of months, which I think is fantastic as well. And on that, by the way, female empowerment, Jason, I do want to say a massive congratulations to your lovely wife, who I know she wasn't able to go to the Sahara thing, but she was instrumental in organising it. They raised over £50,000, I think.
Incredible, raised over £50,000. Sadly, Amy had to pull out because Olivia was in intensive care for 7 weeks. Obviously, the good news is Olivia's home now. She's well. She's doing really well, bless her. But yeah, the Sahara sisters went over there. They raised over £50,000, and on top of that as well, they did some work in a school over there. and they helped children with special needs. So it was a very, very worthwhile trip. And to everyone that donated and everyone that says kind words and comments, thank you very much, because that's obviously really, really, really good of people to do so. So thank you.
No, absolutely. You did an absolutely brilliant job. And Jason, you've also raised over £500,000 for charities as well. You know, you always speak your mind. You're honest. You know, you're thick-skinned. You do a lot, but you do a lot of good for a lot of great causes. And so, like, you've raised over £500,000, which is unbelievable, mate. So well done.
I always say, Dave, the only reason I do it, and I say this tongue in cheek, everyone, is to book my place in heaven. And last time God emailed me, only a few weeks back, he went, listen, you've got loads more to do to book your place in heaven. So I'm not, I'm joking. Listen, now, kind words, Dave, but you know what? Even if you raise a penny or £500,000 or £1 million, the fact that people are doing something and doing something to help others, because we can all give and we can all make a difference to the lives of others. It's a positive thing to do. So thank you for your kind words.
And the reason I raise these points and these things, look, I know everyone's fed up. There's a lot of people that have gone past caring. There's some people that are very angry. There's people that, you know, there's all sorts of things going. But like, football is just a game, mate. You've had heartache in your life. You've got a young daughter that suffers. You're doing positive. There's a lot of people that are struggling in a lot of ways, you know, and wish it was only worrying about Wolves and losing every week. There's more important things than getting angry over a football club. When
this is what I say, like, tongue in cheek, Dave, because the reality is, and you know, people, you know, I do make a lot of jokes about it, and the reason being is because, in the scheme of things, football really isn't that important. But what football does, it's a bit of a community that brings us all together, and it's also when you're having tough times at home or you're having tough times in your life or your business, and sometimes it's a bit of a get out, it's a bit of a release.
And we ain't even got the release. But the game of the week, the game as well, is not just about the 90 minutes. It's about the people you spend it with during the day before and after the match. And the thing that I think has been the point that was made, if we do go down, it will affect people's livelihoods. There will be people that will lose their jobs, ordinary people, part-time workers and stuff like that. You know,
sincerely, the only people who I don't want to see this club get relegated. Of course I don't, flipping heck, you know, of course I don't, right? So don't misquote me on this. I'm not saying you're going to misquote me. My point is, the only people I'm glad will suffer the most is Fosun. I'm glad that their ridiculous, continued, terrible decisions will come home to roost, and I'm glad they're going to be the ones that suffer, right? They won't, you know, it's not as if they particularly, you know, care about the football side of things, but they are going to be the ones that suffer financially as a result of it, and they're you know, they're going to look at it as losing and wasting a hell of a lot of money. And you know,
I think go on. I think what the shame is, Jason, is that they did all that effort to get us into the Premier League, to get us to where we were, and just let it all go. In the scheme of things, Wolves is nothing. We're a tiny little dot. They have a multi-billion-pound pharmaceutical, because the amount that Wolves is worth is nothing in the scheme of things. It probably won't be a pinprick, but why put all this effort to have got us into the Premier League and where we were, and then let it all go? It just makes no sense to me. And it's our 150th anniversary, yeah, isn't it? We've got some questions come in for the panel before we finish. Panel, Darren Timmins, 9991. Hi, Darren. By the way, thank you for all the people that have recently become members, because you can become a member on your mobile now. So thank you. Membership has gone up in the actual members about by 20 in the last few weeks. So I appreciate that. Question: how many points do you think we will get this season, Chris?
Can't answer for the season because I've got no idea what's going to happen in January. But I don't think we're going to get any before January.
Okay, you think we're going to get no more points before January?
No.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Interesting. Jason?
How many did Derby get down on?
I think it was 11.
We'll get 10.
We'll get 10. This is a tongue-in-cheek question for Chris and Chris. Is a Wang and Arias the same person?
Can I just jump in, Chris, here?
What am I supposed to say about that?
I don't know. It's just a tongue-in-cheek.
All I'll say is about Wang and Arias. When they was in Birmingham on Sunday, I wish there was at the German market. There's my answer.
I thought Arias had his best game for us the weekend. Actually, I thought he did really well. No, I actually thought he had his best game.
If that is the barometer, that's his best game, Dave.
Yeah, I was there, man. I was like seeing it. He was putting it about. He was like,
probably was his best game actually. But if that's the levels, wow.
I know. Well, yeah, I know. But yeah,
I think you've answered that, Dave, in stating it was his best game.
Yeah, that's probably a good point. Question, Jason, and do you believe in Rob Edwards?
I believe in Rob Edwards 1 billion%. I think the change was possibly done at the right time. Obviously, Vitor was always going to start this season. There was no reason why he shouldn't have. But Rob Edwards has walked into an absolute shit show, and I believe him 100%.
Chris.
Yeah, look, he's a local lad. He's got a club at heart. He hasn't picked this squad of players. He's just got to work with them, and I believe he will turn them around at some point. I don't think it's going to happen overnight. I think it's going to take some time, and I think it involves changing a lot of personnel. What my worry is the infrastructure behind him at a senior level isn't of the right caliber to give him the playing cards he needs.
Yeah.
Spot on.
I'm not going to ask you publicly the question that Sutty's asking, because Sutty's doing exactly to you what you do to him when he's on. You want to answer the question?
Yeah, I can't see.
Want to know, Chris, do you like a big German sausage or a little German sausage? But this is exactly what you do to him when he's on the show.
Well, what I would say to my dear friend Keith is, and I'll say it in German, alles hat ein Ende, nur die Wurst hat zwei.
What does that mean?
I heard that in a porn movie once, Chris.
Everything has an end, but a sausage has two.
Right. Same amount of points as we've got. Panel wants to know how much long of a period of understanding will Edwards get from the Wolves fans? Personally happy to stick with him for the long haul. I think we've answered that tonight in the fact that whatever happens, he's here for the long term now.
I think we've got to stick with him. I think we've got to have a manager we stick with him and believe in, and we've seen over the past few seasons when we get a manager in, then we bin him off, or we get a manager in and we don't support him, then we get a manager in and sack him, and then try and reinstate him like bloody Gary O'Neill. So with Rob Edwards, we've got to get behind him as a club. There's still people in the chat, I've seen it earlier, who aren't completely bought by it. But listen, there's not many people who are going to take us on in this position. So the fact he's sticking his head above the parapet and he believes in himself and he's backing himself is good enough for me.
Absolutely.
Just going back to the sausage, Dave, I did actually walk past a young lady selling sausages in Frankfurt Airport today, and I didn't buy one. Very unusual. I did put a picture of him,
on our private members Discord group. So if you become a member as well, you can get on the Discord group, which there's always loads of interesting discussions going on every day about that.
And you get to see Chrissy's German sausage.
Jason's actually had I very kindly gave him.
Oh, you did
a bottle of my special sausage sauce,
and it was really good. It was really, really good. I have tried Chrissy's sausage sauce.
This is going downhill very quickly. This
bit like the Wolves, Chris. Bit like the Wolves, mate.
It really is. Someone asked about how many players we're going to lose to AFCON. It was 5, but Jackson Chichua has not been called up by his country. It's been revealed
Yeah,
today.
they watched him playing for
Oh, I'm
Wolves.
so shocked at that.
Yeah.
What did he do, Dave?
So,
Miss the flight.
So
He's missed
it doesn't
the
seem
he's gone for.
They obviously included him because he was at where he was in Italy, and they thought he must be half decent. They've seen him play for Wolves this season and decided they'll pass.
Yeah. Someone wants to know: would you recall Doyle back? Who's
100%. 100%.
No, because we can't.
I know we
Do you
can't.
know what?
100% if we could. The
Ah,
question
there is
is, would you, not can you? If it's
with
would
Tommy
you,
Doyle.
100%.
He's ripping it up at Birmingham. It was a mistake, especially when we were short in midfielders. He should never have gone out. There isn't a recall option in, of course there isn't. But Tommy, from my understanding, if he chose to, he can move from Birmingham in the summer, in January, if he's not happy at Birmingham, which he clearly is at the moment because he's playing every week, or a better offer came in from somewhere else on loan or better money. So there is a way, but I don't see it happening because he's playing every week at Birmingham at the moment, and again he's had another great game tonight. So if he's playing every week, he wants to play football. He's in a lot of fans that love him. His manager's playing him every week. You just can't see it. He should never have gone out for me at all. And my dad would definitely say that. Right, final thing. Score prediction from you two for Forest on Wednesday. We'll go with you first, Chris. I know we're going to get no points because you already said so. So
yeah, well, sadly I won't be. Well, I don't know whether it's sadly actually. I'll still be over in Estonia. I don't get back till I think 10:30 at night on Wednesday, so I won't be going to that game. I'm not sure whether I'm pleased about that or not. Knowing my luck, they'll probably win, but I don't think that's going to happen anyway, Dave. So I think we will lose the game, maybe 2-1, 1-0.
okay.
It'll be close and tight because as a bare minimum, I expect the players to have shape and be running in the right places in the right directions. But I just don't see us having what we need to beat that team.
Okay. Jace?
I think it'll be 1-1. I think Morgan Gibbs White will open the scoring. I think he'll do that. I don't know. I was just, I don't know, is he?
I don't know because I know he was injured about a week ago. I'm not sure if he's fit.
And then
maybe
I think it'll be 1-0, and then John Hairy Arse will get an equaliser and it'll hit him on his arse, go in the top corner, and he'll get goal. He'll get goal of the month.
that would be starting a new month, so hopefully we can score more. It'd be nice to score a goal.
Or literally hit a 30-yarder. It will be going for the corner flag. It'll hit John Hairy Arse and it'll go in the top corner. Promise you,
mate. If that comes off, we're replaying this clip forever and a day. Yeah, it's been confirmed by Neil saying that Morgan Gibbs White and Woods are out. So so they might. I mean,
that is good news. Good news.
Yeah, that would be. So it'd be interesting to see. Look, Scott's asked when the Premier League predictions going out video. Scott, there won't be one this week because we've got to get a match on Wednesday. But if you go to the alwayswolves.co.uk website, the predictions are on the. I do believe they're on the website. So I think they're on the website anyway. So you'll be able to see them on the website. Let me just check actually, and then we're just going to finish off. I'm not sure if they are on the website or not. Oh yeah. So if you go to the website, alwayswolves.co.uk, Premier League predictions, week 14, they're all out on there at the moment, so you can check over what they are.
Wolves 2, Forest now.
I'm going for it, mate. I'm going for it.
Okay,
I think
okay then, Dave. Put 100 quid on it.
I ain't that going for it. Mate, listen, I'm
joking.
one of these days we're bound to win a football game. I think our best chance is probably this Wednesday. If it doesn't happen this Wednesday, I think
Dave, I would really, and look, everyone's mood would change, wouldn't it? Even if it'd be temporarily, but that's all we want. We this is why we love football, for the highs, and you have to take the lows with it. So if we did get a win, brilliant.
Yeah, well, I hope so, mate. I think we all want that. I'll tell you what else we need, Jason. We need some luck as well. We need something to go away.
Absolutely.
We need because I know that we've lost the last 2 games, but we have been unlucky at times, but that's what happens when you're down the ball. When you run, when things are going for you, all those little breaks go for you, don't they? We need a bit of luck as well on our side for a change. Maybe like Jason, like what you're saying, a shot that's going to the corner flag, ricochets off someone's ass and flies into the top corner. That's the sort of luck we need. So I hope your prediction,
we'd flipping take that
prediction comes true. We'll be able to watch it, Chris, from where you are.
No, Dave, because I'll be travelling, so I think I might struggle. Yeah, I'll be in midair when the game's on.
Okay.
In fact, I'll be flying over the stadium at one point, I'd imagine.
Yeah, not with a banner on the back of your plane, though.
Yeah, maybe.
back us or sell us.
It's been 90 minutes of banter and chat. Thanks for joining us live on Monday night. Much appreciated. The producer just come get me a cup of tea. She's just in the background there. I love you boys to bits, both of you.
You, Dave. Keep up the brilliant work, Dave. Keep smiling, Chris.
I know everyone's upset and down and stuff like that, but and I am realistic to know, and I try and be positive. I always try and have hope. That's just the way I am. But it is what it is with it.
We can't change things, can we, Dave? What we've got to do is support the players on the pitch. If we don't think people in the background in the club are the right things for us, and we don't agree what they're doing, fine. But at the end of the day, we've got to support those 11 players. They need our support, and that's what we have to do every match, unfortunately. And they need us as much as we need them at the moment.
Absolutely. That's absolutely right. And all the off-field stuff that will bubble on in whatever form that it bubbles on, of course. So yeah, listen, guys, thanks ever so much for joining us tonight. Much appreciate Monday night. And until the next one, from myself, Cheerful, and the Lord himself, always Wolves.
Always Wolves.